Sometimes they're their own worst enemies. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst decisions by Disney villains. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll talk about the times the bad guys actually made life easier for the good guys in Disney and Pixar animated films. Number 10. Butterfingers, Beauty and the Beast.
Too kind and gentle to fight back.
My, what a fall, Gaston. Wait, that isn't how the song goes. He may be capable of a lot, but apparently having a strong grip isn't one of Gaston's many abilities. While trying to kill Beast, Gaston is scaling the side of the castle in the rain, and only holding on with one hand. After a skirmish, he slips right off the castle, and that's the end of it. This is of course a convenient plot device that lets the Beast remain innocent by sparing Gaston's life, while still giving the villain an ending he deserves. Number 9. Tormenting Toys, Toy Story.
We don't like being blown up, Sid.
Even though you wouldn't expect your toys to come alive and seek vengeance, torture is never a good idea. You see, Sid loved to torment his toys. He would burn them and try to launch them into space, but his favorite mode of torture was creating Frankendolls, by ripping them apart and putting them together in sinister ways.
Hannah! Janie's all better now.
Woody rallied Sid's victims to save Buzz, turning them against their creator.
We toys can see everything.
So play nice.
Sid's actions are almost excusable, since he didn't know the toys were alive. But Lotso in Toy Story 3 was a toy himself.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
That psychopath left the toys to die, but the gang escapes and gets justice. Number 8. Unguarded Cauldron, the Black Cauldron. The Horned King is one of the scariest of all the Disney villains, but he sure isn't the smartest.
How long I have thirsted to be a god among mortal men.
His entire plan for world domination revolves around the Black Cauldron, which creates an undead army. The Horned King works hard looking for the thing, even using a pig to find it. But once he finally gets it, he leaves it totally unguarded. It's not like he didn't have the resources. With all the dead guys supporting him, the lack of guards meant that little Gurgi could stop the cauldron, instantly killing the army and putting an end to the Horned King. Number 7. Cutting the Vines, Tarzan. When you're hanging by a thread, or a vine in this case, it's not a good idea to cut your only lifeline, especially when there is another vine wrapped around your neck.
Clayton, don't!
Clayton shows a disdain for the animals of the jungle throughout Tarzan, but in the end, he proves himself to have much less humanity than they do. To defeat him, Tarzan doesn't even need to get blood on his hands, since Clayton unintentionally hangs himself in the vines, in one of the more graphic villain deaths in the Disney canon. Number 6. Shooting John Smith, Pocahontas. He sure puts the rat in Ratcliffe. This villain is obsessed with gold, and will stop at nothing to get it.
My rivals back home, it's not that I'm bitter, but think how they squirm when they see how I glitter.
He thinks the natives are hiding treasure in the New World, so he decides they need to die. His men weren't necessarily on board with the whole mass murder thing, but they rally together when John Smith is sentenced to death by Chief Powhatan.
And worse, they're savages, barely even human.
Luckily, Pocahontas stopped the impending battle, but Ratcliffe decided to fire anyway and shot John.
Fine, I'll settle this myself. No!
Whether he was aiming at John is irrelevant, since John was the only reason his men went to war in the first place. He would have been better off literally shooting himself in the foot. Number 5. Not changing Rapunzel's birthday, Tangled.
Tomorrow night, the light
lights will appear just like they do on my birthday each year.
If you're gonna go through the effort of kidnapping a princess, then you better put some thought into your plan. When Mother Gothel took Rapunzel from her family, she took her to a hidden tower in the middle of nowhere. But it seems common sense stopped there, because she kept Rapunzel's original birthday, instead of changing it to literally anything else.
And I can't help but feel like they're meant for me.
You know, the same day thousands of lanterns are released in honor of the missing princess.
You mean the lantern thing they do for the princess?
Lanterns. I knew they weren't stars.
The connection between the lanterns and her birthday lead Rapunzel to the truth, and ultimately to Gothel's downfall. Number 4, Big Mouth, Monsters Inc.
But I spotted several big mistakes.
But how did...
Some Disney villains just can't pass up an opportunity to brag.
Times have changed. Scaring isn't enough anymore. But kidnapping children? I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die, and I'll silence anyone who gets in my way!
Mr. Waternoose makes the mistake of revealing his plan before he can even act on it. His power plant, which supplies power through the screams of human children, isn't doing too well, so his brilliant idea is to kidnap children to harvest their screams. This breaks ethics codes even in the monster world, and luckily he reveals his plot while being unknowingly recorded, and is promptly arrested. Mayor Bellwether makes a similar mistake in Zootopia. She reveals her plan to Judy, who is always armed with her trusty carrot pen/recorder. Will villains ever learn?
It's my word against yours. Ooh, actually...
And I'll dart every predator in Zootopia to keep it that way.
It's your word against yours. It's called a hustle, sweetheart. Boom.
Number 3, Trusting Hyenas, The Lion King. All things considered, Scar is a pretty smart lion. Psychotic, maybe, but smart.
You have no idea.
For whatever reason, let's call it laziness, he relies on the hyenas to help him hatch his plan.
Of course, quid pro quo. You're expected to take certain duties on board.
Everyone knows the hyenas aren't very bright, and Scar himself has noted this on a few occasions.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Now you, Scar, I mean, you're one of us.
Yet he trusts them to kill Simba as a cub, which they don't do, and he trusts them not to turn on him, which they actually do. When going through a plan to kill your brother, with the possibility of angering a pride of lions, it's important to remember that if you want something done right, you'd better do it yourself. Number 2, Wearing a Cape, The Incredibles.
Oh, he had a great look. Oh, the cape and the boots.
No capes.
Isn't that my decision?
Do you remember Thunderhead?
Capes may look cool, but when you're in the middle of fighting for your life, they can be extremely impractical. Capes have taken the lives of superheroes and villains alike.
Stratogale, April 23rd, 57. Cape caught in a jet turbine.
You can't generalize it.
This is why Edna Mode has one rule when designing supersuits: no capes.
Splashdown sucked into a vortex. No capes.
Syndrome may be able to build giant superhero-killing robots, but when it comes to fashion, he's clueless. He foolishly adds a cape to his supersuit and gets sucked into his own jet engine. And he wonders why Mr. Incredible didn't want to partner with him. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions.
But she froze your heart.
The only frozen heart around here is yours.
Another one of your little bird tricks?
Yep.
Are there a bunch of little girls in this one too?
Hello, girls!
Number 1, Becoming a Genie, Aladdin. Don't you love it when a well-laid plan comes together? Unfortunately for this Grand Vizier, this did not happen.
But there's a new order now. My order.
Jafar had everyone and everything where he wanted them. He'd become the most powerful sorcerer. He was the Sultan, and he was about to kill Aladdin. Instead, he lets Aladdin talk him into becoming a genie.
He gave you your power. He could take it away.
Al, what are you doing? Why are you bringing me into this?
Face it, Jafar. you're still just second best.
The genie may have phenomenal cosmic power, but it also comes with an itty-bitty living space.
No! I'm getting out of here!
Phenomenal cosmic powers?
Come on, you're the genie! I know!
Itty bitty living space. Hell, you little genius, you.
Good job, Jafar. You let your enemy convince you to enslave yourself. He really should have known better, considering his extensive knowledge of arcane lore. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.